This one is the second movie written and directed by Jason Leigh Howden. However, I haven't seen his first one, nor does it look very interesting to me. This one though did look interesting, and a lot of that had to do with this very flashy poster. But I also think Daniel Radcliffe is a very talented actor who's picked some really interesting projects in recent years. Although he hasn't exactly been doing a ton of movies either since Harry Potter. But the few I've actually seen, Kill Your Darling, Swiss Army Man and most recently Django, have been pretty good. I've thoroughly enjoyed them. And this one honestly looked like it might fit right in there with these slightly unorthodox movies. Which it definitely does, because it is indeed not your average comedy or action movie. But the basic premise here is that there's this game of life and death going on, where people face off in real life and the events are streamed online. And then this schlubby regular guy gets forced into participating by having, well, I don't know if this is a spoiler because it happens a good 15 minutes into the movie, but at the same time it's actually shown on the actual poster if you look carefully. So can it really be considered a spoiler? I'd argue not, so it is what it is. But yeah, he's forced to participate by having guns literally bolted to his hands. And an opponent is assigned to him, which means he's gonna have to fight for his life. And that's just the basic setup here. Things sorta go from there and evolve the further into it we get. And while I wouldn't consider the story here all that special, I will say that it works well enough, and it did turn out to be more intricate than I expected. There are a couple of twists and turns along the way to keep it interesting. But at the same time, this thing is all about the action and the relentless pace. Because it jumps right into it from the word go and it never really stops. And visually, I gotta say I really enjoyed this. That was probably my favorite part of the whole thing. I mean, there's a lot of quick editing, but I wouldn't call it chaotic or hectic. I would rather call it tight and energetic, which I quite liked. And the camera work is also very dynamic and lively as well. So those things combined with a lot of colorful graphics on screen creates this sense of controlled chaos. It's kinda over the top in some ways, but it's not obnoxious. And I have to say it's a rather highly stylized movie too, even just the sets and whatnot. It has this visual style to it, like not quite cyberpunk, but a grimier version. I don't know if there's such a thing as grime punk, but that's what I'm gonna call it. And if you took the graphics of Scott Pilgrim and mashed it together with the speed and energy of Crank, this is exactly what you'd get. So yeah, if it wasn't clear enough, I really enjoyed what they did with this. At least from the visual point of view as well as the perspective of the pacing. And adding to that, I also enjoyed some of the humor here. I thought it had a few really great moments. I mean, a few times it made me laugh by just being completely ridiculous. However, I think the humor in this is also the reason I didn't like it even more. Because a lot of it also fell kinda flat. It just felt slightly amusing. And had the humor been consistently spot on, I think I would have loved this. But as it is, I ended up feeling kinda lukewarm about it as a whole. It was fine, I didn't have that many real complaints about it. But at the same time, I do feel like it could have been better with sharper and funnier dialogue. So yeah, I don't know. Would I recommend this? I mean, if you like outrageous movies, sure, why not? It's at least worth giving a shot, but if you care about story and realism, maybe skip this one. Because realism is definitely not on this movie's list of priorities. But hey, maybe give it a shot, maybe don't. After all, I'm not your dad. But what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic. And if you'd like, you can also support me on Patreon or PayPal through the links in the description. And as always, I appreciate you and thanks for watching.